Jets Chaos. Jeremy from Jets Chaos, and we are in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl. We are here. It is about half an hour until the players come out for one of the teams. And as you know, what are we here for if we're Jet fans? Why are we here? What do we care about the Senior Bowl? What are we looking for? Well, we need a bunch of positions, right? Potentially a safety. We could really use a safety. We need a defensive tackle. We need some help on the inside there. We could always use another edge. JJ's coming back from an injury. We don't know what he's going to be like. I know some of you are like, but we got McDonald. Well, McDonald's a pass rush specialist right now. He's not an edge setter. So if a lot of you guys say cut Clemens. Well, if you want to cut Clemens, we're going to have to find ourselves an edge, someone who could seal the edge on the other side of JJ. So we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking, of course, we could use a new right tackle. Maybe we bring Morgan back for a year, but, at some point you have to consider that position. I think the sneakiest need, I can't believe people aren't going nuts for it, is wide receiver. Whether we bring back Devontae Adams or not, we need a wide receiver, guys. I don't understand what people's plan is. If we don't get ourselves a wide receiver, a young wide receiver, what are we thinking? What are we doing? Because even if we bring Devontae back, what happens after next year? Right, we got an unhappy receiver in GW that we're hoping gets happy. We don't know how that's going to unfold. As much as we want to say we own his contract and we have team control for 3 years, that's all nonsense if he's not happy, if he's causing problems in the locker room. I want to think optimistically that GW will be fine. But who's his guy? Who's the guy that plays opposite of GW in the future, beyond just this season? The draft is not about this year. The draft is about building a team for this year and the future. So wide receiver to me is a huge need. The problem is, as far as first round wide receivers, the only guy that's really exciting me is McMillan, to be honest. You beat Ubika, or whatever, the kid from Ohio State is more of a slot. He could play a little on the outside, so he could be somebody. I don't like the kid from, Missouri? I don't like him at all. Lucas or whatever. Too small, looks like Corley. We already have a 6 foot, 220 pound, looks like a running back wide receiver. I don't want to build a whole team of them. So really, to me, it's either McMillan or you look into the second, third, fourth round. Now the reality is a lot of just so you understand this draft. A lot of people right away they jump on the bandwagon. They hear, "Oh, it's a bad draft. It's a bad draft. This is a bad year." It's a tough year for first round. There's not a lot of premium guys. You got about 10 to 15 truly first round rateable players, right? Which is a weak year. But the second, third, fourth, and fifth rounds are loaded. This is a great draft to build a team in the middle rounds, which is why if some of our top tier choices that we want are gone by the time we get to 7, and somebody for some reason wants to trade up, maybe it's for Sanders or for Ward, maybe one of them slips. If anybody slips that somebody else wants and they're willing to give us some extra picks in the middle rounds, this is the year to do it. This is the year where you could build a team in the middle rounds. This is where you get starters, just value picks. Second round, you want a little better, right? Maybe we get that, maybe he slips, we get Fannin, the tight end, we get ourselves a receiving tight end, finally end that nightmare that we haven't had forever. But third, fourth, fifth round, this is where you can get defensive tackles. This is where you can get safeties, right? This is where you can get guards. I'm telling you, man, this is a great draft for guards. And I'm not thinking I know you're thinking, oh, I don't want guards. Look, this is not a first round where you're looking for a player that you draft that has to start right away, right? You get yourself a guard right now that develops. He's a backup his first year. This way, if AVT balls out and wants 25, 30 million and we don't want to pay him or something crazy like that, we got 2 guards after this season coming up. After the 2025 season, we got 2 guards that are free agents. 2. So you have to assume there's a chance we're not going to retain one of them, right? So this is the draft, third, fourth round. You lock in a guard if there's someone you like. Now, I've already said it enough, if you know me at all. In the last few days, I've been buzzing about this kid, Miles Frasier. Looking forward to seeing him right now in person. Miles Frasier is a plays for LSU. A lot of people focus, when they look at LSU, they focus on the tackles. It's a couple of really high rated tackles. One at least to go in the first round. Campbell, you've all heard of him. The other one probably goes in the early second round or middle of the second round. So everybody's focused on these tackles, and a lot of people are overlooking. We feel. Me and Dom pointed him out. We watched film on him. His name is Miles Frasier. He's not for everyone. You're not going to use him if you use an outside zone. So a few years ago, for the last few years up until this year, he wouldn't be an ideal pick for the Jets because he's a big guy. He's big. He's not as mobile. He's not as quick. But, man, if you're in a power gap scheme for blocking and your run game, this guy is an ox. He's about 340 pounds. He moves good for a 340-pound guy. I don't want to say he doesn't move good. He's just not your ideal in-space speedster, speed athletic guard. This is a guy that is just going to anchor, right? He's going to anchor. No one's running through him, unless he gets out. The only time on his film where he gets beat in pass blocking, pass defense, is when he's just out of position, when he doesn't get position. And that happens to players, especially in college. That's going to happen to every player. Every once in a while, they're going to get caught out of position, and that's okay. But when this kid locks in, guys, he's great. And just remember the name Miles Frasier. If we end up getting him, you guys are going to love him. That's a guy who's going to be a backup his first year. Whether it's year 2 or year 3, he's going to develop into a solid starter. You have a solid starting guard that you get in the 4th round, man. That's freaking Christmas, or Hanukkah if you're Jewish. That's what that is. That's a beautiful thing when you could build a team that way. So that's what I feel like this Senior Bowl is about, and I feel that this draft is about. This draft is not about finding superstars. This draft is going to be about 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, maybe even in the 6th round. Finding guys that can help your team. Finding guys that can help you be a better team, could end up being in starter roles. That's a victory, right? You got to realize, sometimes we lose track of that. We want every pick to be this amazing pick, and then we get... the funniest thing is when fans get mad at our 4th and 5th round picks. Like, if you get mad at the 4th round, 5th pick, you need, to see a shrink. Because you need therapy. Because you don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's no way you know these players in depth enough to understand or be upset or emotional about 4th or 5th round picks. There are guys you might never have heard of. If I didn't say the name Miles Frasier, 99% of our fan base would have had no idea who he is. And then if we picked him in the 4th round, everybody would have screamed and cried, been upset, having no idea and never watching his film. We want to change that. We're trying to give you information. Dom C's doing a great job of changing that. We're trying to change that so that we have the most knowledgeable fan base, that at least when we make our picks in the 4th, 5th round, you can look, you'll have heard of them. If you're watching the content, you'll have heard of them. You'll know if they're guys that Dom C, I'm trying to help. I'm watching film. Well, all of us are. Tigo's watching film. We're all trying to get this stuff down. We're trying to figure out and give you an idea of the different players that can help us in those rounds. That's why we're here. That's why we're in mobile for Talking Jets. We want to be able to give that content, provide that content. So when you watch Greenbean, when you watch Ryan, when you watch O'Leary, when you watch them on Tuesday in the panel, the things they're saying, they have a team here, right? They have 2 guys here that are watching. We're watching film, man. I'm with Tigo sometimes one day. I'm with Dom C the next day. We're watching film. We're getting to know these players. I'm learning with you guys. So, Dom C's teaching me. But we're gaining our knowledge. We're learning about these players. We're learning about what to look for in these players. You see Dom C's track record. He knows what he's doing. The players that he named last year are fucking crushing it in the NFL right now. Dominic Pucci, Nick Frasier from last year. Remember how we loved him? Well, he's crushing it right now. He's unbelievable. So, you're getting good content from this guy, and I'm learning from this guy, and we're going to be sharing all that information for you this week. We're getting it all down. Right now, our crush is Miles Frasier for a 4th round guard. We love that. We think he's going to fill a big need for the future. Tight ends, man. If you guys want a tight end, man, watch Bowling Green. Go and watch. I usually don't tell people to watch highlights because highlights are highlights. But I think if you go into Fannin, if you type in Fannin, Bowling Green highlights, I think what you'll like about him is it's not just broken coverage and he catches a pass and it's just this is all the film of his catches. This kid is explosive. He's fast. He's agile. You could see it. I've watched film on him. where I watch games. He's not an inline blocker, but he's a very willing outside blocker. Like he'll make the hits on the out. He makes the hits on the outside. He makes the blocks. He plays to the whistle. You'll love this kid, right? I mean, obviously he's not the tight end. He's not the tight end too. He's not the guy you're going to line up in line to help the running game, right? He's the guy that's going to be a little bit offline. He's going to be a little bit. Sometimes you're going to line him up in the slot. This is the guy that that you want to create mismatches with, because he's big, but he's quick, and he's got long arms. And his measurements were great, by the way. He's got really long arms. He's got all the things you want. He's got great hands. So we're going to be looking at Fannin for you. And I know a lot of you guys like Jackson Dart. You guys are all about Jackson Dart. We're going to be watching him. I still have yet to do my quarterback review of him. We're going to be looking at film on him. So we're definitely going to be checking out Jackson Dart. I wouldn't jump on the bandwagon too fast or go crazy or whatever. Everybody needs to chill on that. Let's take a look at the kid. Don't just look at some highlights, man. Don't base it on that for quarterback. Every quarterback in the NFL has a highlight reel. Just remember that. Or every quarterback out of college has a highlight reel. That's how they promote themselves, right? You got to look at the regular play. You got to look at all the other plays. You got to look at the 99.8% of the plays that aren't in the highlight reel. But anyway, let's say hello to some people. I got Todd. What's going on, Todd? Eric Craig is here. It's good to see you, man. Green Tube Dave is saying the best weapon the first year is the tight end from Penn State. You like Warren, but I'm not taking him Warren at 7. I mean, this wouldn't be the worst draft in the world if you took Warren at 7, because it's such a weak draft. But that's not good use of freaking allocation of resources. Like, if we can, you trade back to 20, and then you take Warren. And if he's gone, you take Loveland or you take Fannin, right? There's not I know you guys love with Warren. You're in love with Warren. He was the only receiver on that team. His numbers, he's very talented. He's very athletic. His numbers were padded. Understand that. But he's a great athlete. I have no problem taking Warren, but it's got to be like it's got to be after trading back. You cannot use the number 7 pick on a tight end he is not Brock Bowers. Okay? He's not Brock Bowers. He's not a superstar. He's the most well-rounded, or one of the most well-rounded tight ends. He is. He could block. You could line him up in line. He can catch passes. He's a great athlete. You can line him up in the backfield and use it fullback. I'm all about it. But you got to trade back. You got to get me another second-round pick or your third-round pick. You got to get me something. You trade back to 20, maybe you get next year's first and a second or third this year. You want to do that? That's fine. But you're not using number 7 on Warren, and at least you're not doing that without me going nuts and being pissed off. I'd be pissed off if that happened. Just bad, you don't get the 7 pick in the draft. We're hoping we're not going to be in the top 10 very often, right? We say it every year, but there's going to be a day where we get good and we don't have these opportunities. So, sack the like button. I love it, Eric Craig. Thanks a lot, man. Jets versus Chiefs Super Bowl. Also, if there's a pick at 7 I'm totally happy with. Well, there's a few. Obviously, if Abdul Carter by some miracle slipped to number 7, you run to the podium and you take him, right? I believe you do that for Terrence McMillan, Toria. I'm gonna just call him T-Mac, T. McMillan from Arizona, the wide receiver. If he's there, you take him, you grab him, you run to the podium for him as well. I think he's gonna be electric. That would be a beautiful WR2 out to complement Garrett Wilson. If you don't know about this kid, McMillan, he's got freaking ironclad hands, man. His hands are freaking like locks. As soon as that ball makes any contact with his hands, that ball is secure. He's going to get 50-50 balls like you wouldn't believe. He's going to make crazy catches. He's a freakish athlete, man. He's long. He's very long, fast, athletic. I don't do player comps, right? So he might be a different comp. He's this or that. He doesn't have this. He reminds me, as far as his freakishness, I put him in the category, and this is me. People could go crazy. It's just my opinion. I put him in the category of like a Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens, like that kind of athlete, like just a freakish athlete. He's long, he's athletic, he's got crazy hands, he's super fast, he's quick. The one question about him, the only thing that makes him not like a top 4 pick, right? The only question about him is we don't know how he gets, They used him a lot in the slot, and the question is, well, did they use him in the slot because he has trouble getting off the line of scrimmage if you line him up on the boundary? So that's a question, right? You don't want to use the 7 pick on a wide receiver who's going to struggle to get off the line of scrimmage. So that's the one question about the kid, but everything else, and we don't know that's why they put him at the slot. They might put him at the slot because it works, not because he can't get off the line of scrimmage. So there's no evidence that he can't. We're just saying that it's very hard from the film because he lines up in the slot so much to know and be able to rest assured, oh yeah, he can jump off the line of scrimmage real quick. Personally, I wouldn't mind using him in the slot. Anyway, I just want this kid on the field, and I want him on our team. Jet Quest is here. What's going on? Is Jackson Dart here? Not sure if he's a senior. Jackson Dart is here. Jackson Dart is a senior. He's going to be the hardest one for us to talk to. I mean, he's going to be one of the guys that the press is just all over. I mean, we'll try, but we'll definitely be watching him. Like, he's the star. Like, he's the guy on the media night on Wednesday. He's the one that's going to have a table. Like, there's a few players that get a table. I have no doubt that Jackson Dart will be one of those guys. So he's one of the big names that's here. We'll watch him. I was talking about it before. Don't go too Jackson Dart crazy. Okay? He's not like, people are starting to, like, don't get carried away. Okay? He's not a generational guy. He's like, there's some talent there. He could be a sneaky guy, right? I think he's going to sneak into the first round. That's the problem. I think he's going to sneak into the back of the first round. Honestly, guys, I know we get excited every year about quarterback. You get excited. Jackson Dart, and he might be good. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. There's things I like about him. I'm going to do a review on him. But what you have to remember about Jackson Dart and taking a quarterback this year is next year might be one of the greatest. Next year is going to be a crazy draft class for quarterback. The 26 class is insane. So if you take a guy like Dart and then miss out on the best year to draft a quarterback, that's pretty sad, right? So it's not just, if he's there in the second round, Jackson Dart, you have to do it. Understand it's the opportunity cost, because then we're going to come in next year. We're not going to draft a quarterback if we do that, right? So you're shutting yourself out of the 26th draft for quarterback. Just understand. So that's called opportunity cost. So it's more than just the second round pick if you take them. You're also giving up the possibility of taking a quarterback in 26. So you have to be okay with that. Our team would have to be convinced. Our new general manager, our scouting, they would have to be convinced that Jackson Dart is the man, right? And believe me, if I've learned anything watching football for over 40 years, no quarterback is guaranteed. So if you're saying, he's guaranteed, you haven't watched football long enough, because it ain't guaranteed. Okay? More than 50% of the quarterbacks drafted in the top 10 are busts. So it's not guaranteed. Right? There might be something there with the kid, and we're going to be watching him. Curly said, any tackle prospects we could look at behind Moses for a year? I think there are tackle prospects. Unfortunately, I don't think they have a top 10 value. So you might see some mock drafts where teams take Campbell in the top 10. I don't think Will Campbell I don't think he's a top 10 prospect. I think that any offensive tackle in this year's draft would rank the highest 6th if it was last year, right? So any tackle you're taking is a reach. Any tackle you're taking is a reach. Maybe not as bad as 6. Maybe Campbell would rank 5th, but I'm not ranking him over Olu, Alt, Fuaga, Barton. I mean, like, we had so many good tackles last year. I mean, he's more of a Guyton, like he's like, which is not bad. I mean, Guyton ended up playing left tackle for Dallas. I don't think he did great, but he's a rookie, right? And the fact that he played left tackle says something. But last year we had J.C. Latham. I mean, I'm not even last year was very rich with tackle. I'd be okay taking. There's a few tackles that would be great second round picks. If they slip, there's a couple of guys that we could look at, and we'll start naming them and giving our rankings on tackle. So think more second round, more third round, maybe again trading back, right? Somebody comes up from 18, 17, wants to come up to 7, gives us a freaking offer we can't refuse. You go back to 17, you grab Campbell at 17. There's another guy too to choose from. There's a couple of tackles. You grab your tackle there. There's your future right tackle. You get yourself a bunch of picks. Maybe you get an extra number 1 for next year, another second or third this year. Now you have 2 number 1s next year. You could use that to trade up and get your quarterback in the best freaking quarterback draft maybe in 20 years. So Yeah, we could make something work like that, but it'd be very disappointing if we use pick 7 on a tackle and come away with nothing else but the tackle. Just again, it's about allocation of resources. It would be a big reach. That being said, any player you take, whether it's a reach or not, if they work out, if they're a hit, it's fine. Nobody cares or remembers that it was a reach 5 years later when you get a great player. So I want to acknowledge that. But I would just be disappointed. I'd want to get something else other than just a tackle. Guys, we're about 7 minutes away from the first team coming out. I think it's the American team is coming out first. So I got to figure out who's going to be on that team practicing. Right now we got just guys stretching, warming up on the field. I'll show you. So you see we got some guys warming up on the field, getting ready, getting loose. It's always good to see. Oh, my niece is here, Leah. What's up, Leah? Good morning. We got Phil all the way. I can't believe somebody from England is watching. What's up, Phil? It's good to see you, brother. What am I doing? What are you doing at the Senior Bowl? Is that a joke? We are interviewing players. We're watching players. We're prospecting. We're following our passion. That's what we love to do. That's what I'm doing at the Senior Bowl. We're going to be looking at the guys that we like, the prospects that we like. Is Moogie down there? I don't think Moogie's down there, and he probably won't be. They got a lot to do. They're probably going to... I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Savage is in charge of the Senior Bowl, and, he's probably down here. I don't think you're going to see... I think right now our general manager and head coach are focused on finding coordinators. They have to figure out our regular roster. Who are we keeping? Who are we trying to re-sign? Who are we not re-signing? They're probably going to leave it up to Phil Savage, for the next couple of months. Figure out our own roster for the next 30 days. Get our coordinators in, and then I think they'll turn their heads to I think around the combine time. I think when we get to the combines, you'll see our GM and get really serious and active about the upcoming draft, and that's fine because we have all it's not that we have Savage will run the scouting department. They'll have a list of names that we'll catch up in that process, but this is not a regular year for us, right? I mean, we don't even have our coordinators yet. We don't even have our schemes filled yet. We don't even know we don't have our roster yet. We don't know who we're re-signing, who we're letting. We got to fill our roster, decide who's staying, who's going. Right, we don't even know if we don't know if Rodgers is here or not. Like, all those things have to be worked out, and we have to figure all those things out. So I don't expect our GM to be down here. Now, that being said, if he wanted to jump on a flight and pop in for a couple of days, it's not impossible either. I just don't expect it. I don't expect him to do it. Yeti is here. Excited to see how Mr. McCord looked. I'm a big Syracuse guy. Well, we'll be taking a look at it. What's going on, Nate? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Jersey City 99, I'm new. Well, welcome, dude. It's good to see you. Just here, I'm Jeremy. I'm Jets Chaos. We are here at the Senior Bowl. I'm down here with Dom C. I'm here not just for my channel. I'm here representing Talking Jets. Got the hoodie. Representing Green Bean Ryan and Matt O'Leary in the Talking Jets channel. And we're here trying to get interviews. Last year we got about 30 really good interviews. We're hoping to get more. But more importantly, we're hoping to make some notes, see if we can get some more information on these players. Just get a real physical view, watching them play against each other. It's nice to watch seniors playing against other good seniors. Some of these guys, we've only seen them against inferior competition. You watch these guys, they play for some schools, and they play their schedule. They're playing very weak teams, and it's really hard to judge them. It's a lot easier when you have really good senior wide receivers going up against really good senior cornerbacks, and you see who win those battles. So we're here, and we're going to be looking at that. Another nice thing is when you're here and you have a credential, you get access to every video of all the reps and everything. So it's not just, we don't have to worry about recording them anymore. We have access, and tonight we go back to the rented house that we're renting, and we could sit and watch the practice, watch the reps close up. Online, which is nice. But yeah, man, we're excited to see. I know we all have our guys we're excited to see. Throw it in the chat if there are guys you like that I haven't mentioned. Just let me know. We'll definitely take a look at those guys. A lot of defensive tackles we want to talk to. Some big behemoth guys. We'll definitely talk to all the tackles, all the guards. Dom C is an offensive line guy. Always got to be focused on the trenches. And I'm looking for some second, third round wide receivers, to be honest. Third round, fourth round wide receivers. See if there's any hidden gems here this year. We had Lad McConkey here last year. You guys know how me and Green Bean love Lad McConkey. You saw what he did this year. So we're looking for our next Lad McConkey. I think it's going to come in the form of the tight end Fannin from Bowling Green. I think he's one of my favorites this year. I mean, I'm going in looking for Miles Frasier, right guard from LSU, and I'm looking at Fannin from Bowling Green, tight end. Those are my two favorites right now. We'll see if I get any find any new players, any new player crushes. I'll let you guys know. Got to run, guys. I got a set. They're about to get started, so we'll keep reporting in. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. This is Jets Chaos. This is Jeremy. See you later.